Hello, good morning. Good morning. Um, so I wanted to go live today and talk about something that's very close to my heart and probably indeed very close to everybody's heart, which is the question that um, we all want, isn't it? Something we all want, which is happiness. How to be happy? Um, and just now, while I've been considering this, it made me think about a song that I learned when I was at school. When I first took singing lessons, which I thought, just because I'm feeling really happy now, maybe it's just considering how to be happy that's made me feel so happy. Um, but it's reminded me of this song, which was, "Forget your troubles, come on, get happy. You gotta chase all your cares away. Sing hallelujah, come on, get happy. Get ready for your judgment day." So yeah, I love that song. I should have looked up to see who it's by. I can't remember who it was by. But yeah, get happy. How the hell can we all get happy? Because it's possible, isn't it? People are happy. I hope you are happy. And you can type in the comments what you do to get and stay happy. I'd love to hear, and it would be a gift for anybody else who watches to see the things that you do to get and stay happy. So hi, if you're watching, I can see people are tuning in. I'm super excited that you're here. It's making me even happier. So please do comment and tell and get involved, and let's talk about happiness and how to get happy, because it's just such an interesting topic, isn't it? And it really is something that I'm very passionate about. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. I want the world to be happy. I want every one of you watching to be happy right now. And I also, hey, Dimitri, nice. Thanks for your rainbow heart. That's added to my happiness. I want you all to be happy, and I want the whole world to be happy. And I'm going to do everything that I can in my hopefully long life to ensure that joy and happiness is spread like wildfire. So here we go. Um, what type can you type if you're watching? Can you type one thing that you is your go-to action that you do if you are feeling a little subpar or a little bit under the weather? Perhaps under the weather's more related to being a bit poorly. But if you're, if you're a bit off colour, and the reason that I'm using these words instead of saying if you're depressed or if you're feeling, I can't even think of words that are like more extreme, but there's a reason why I'm saying a little bit subpar or a little bit lackluster or a little bit off colour. And these are words that I use to describe myself, my state when I'm a little bit, yeah, not as happy as I am right now. And so it's really important that we are first of all able to recognize the state um, that we are in, and the fact that we don't really want to be in that state. So if you're in a state of like not feeling 100% ecstatic, and perhaps that that does happen to some of us occasionally, that we're not 100% ecstatic. So what can we do to get ourselves to that state of really like real happiness? So I'm really looking forward to seeing what you're going to type in that box. I'm keeping my eye on it. Um, so looking forward to reading those. I'll give you a moment. Um, so here's my first tip. So if you're feeling slightly off color, the first thing is change your vocabulary. Just stop saying that you're depressed. I mean, or whatever the words we use, whatever we the words that we use to describe ourselves and our where we are, that's what creates the patterning. So if you can interrupt that pattern and say, instead of saying depressed, if you can just change that a little bit, it can kind of, and then when you're telling your partner or your friend that you're feeling, so perhaps you're in the state that you would refer to as depressed, and you just start calling it a little bit lackluster, for example, or I'm not feeling so radiant today. If you do that, and it's kind of funny how it works. It's called a pattern interrupter, because it can make you, first of all, it can make you laugh, which is funny because like recognizing our patterning can be quite funny. So that's the first thing, is to change the words that we use habitually. And while I've been considering this morning, like how can we change the words that we use, it's made me think about something that we all use quite frequently. If you're, if you use social media and a smartphone, then most likely, if you're like me, then you use emoji on a regular basis. And so what I find is really an interesting thing to do is to take a look at your habitual emoji that you use on a regular basis. So I'm just going to open mine up and show you. This is quite revealing because I actually let my daughter choose emoji sometimes. So they're not all ones that I use, but I'm going to show you. Oh no, is that? So you can see, excuse my caffeine shake there. So you can see I've got hearts and smile, like a varying assortment of smiley, happy faces. I don't even have one. Like the one I use, you can see the kind of crazy face with the eyes bulging. So that's the one that I use when when I'm feeling I would say overwhelmed, but I'm trying not to use that word because I don't want that to be my reality. I don't want to feel overwhelmed. So I'm just trying to notice the words I'm using and change them. Right, we've got a comment here. Craig, taking a short moment of complete relaxation, not describing the emotions or thoughts, allowing all to be as it is. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great thing. So if that's something you can do to just, it could just be looking out the window, looking at the sky. I've just done this morning. I've made a list of 20 things that can change my state. So things that I can go to and I can put it on the wall so that anytime I feel like anything less than how I like 100% ecstatic, I can just look at that and go, well, I'm taking responsibility for this. If I don't want to be in this state, then I'm going to look at this list and I'm going to pick which one or more of these things I'm going to do. And I've been really enjoying this recently because I love music. I sing, and I haven't been doing enough of it really, quite frankly. And I had forgotten because I've got small children, and that's my excuse. But it's a terrible excuse because children need to hear music. They need that. They love that, and they'll dance around. So there's no excuse really for not playing music. But that has been my excuse, that I just am so busy that I don't even think to put music on, and also that I can't think of, without the CDs there, the physical hard copies of CDs, I can't think what to put on. So that's one of my excuses, and I'm not taking that one anymore. So maybe, like I know that playing music makes me feel good. Anyway, so that's one thing for me. That's on my list. Playing music, singing along. So this is the first thing you can do to feel really, really good. You can make a list of 20 things that can cut through your emotional state and change your state so that you start feeling joyful or just feeling really happy. So look back, look at your life, and look back at moments when you felt really, really, really happy, and what have you been doing to get yourself there? So the idea here is that you create this list of things that make you feel amazing, and then it's a choice, isn't it? If you're feeling low and you don't choose to do one of those things, then that's your choice, and then you're taking responsibility for that. So some of the other things I've got in here, as well as so what Craig mentioned is basically meditation, I would say, isn't it? Whatever you want to call it, whether you call it meditation or mindfulness or relaxation, and it could be lying in the bath, or it could be fishing, whatever you do, that's a kind of like a wordless thing you can do, just being. So obviously that's a great way to go, but there's other things as well. There's craft, or doing things with your hands, whether it's cooking, or sewing, or things with your body, physical practice, yoga, cycling, running, dancing. I mean, show me one person who can dance, like really dance, as if nobody's watching, and not feel good after that. Yeah, I think that's kind of hardwired into us personally. So yeah, these are things that I've got on my list, as well as silent sitting, yoga, dancing, go for a bike ride. I've realised that it just makes me so happy to be on my bike. Go and see a body of water, go to a river or to the sea if that's possible. Just look out the window is on my list. To be outside, just go in the garden, spend time with my partner, watch some funny videos of the children from when they were really little. All these different things. So make a list of things, 20 things that make you feel really good. And you can also make a list of things make you feel low energy or a little bit down. So and then by doing that, it's quite interesting because you're taking responsibility. You find that if in any given moment you are feeling low energy, subpar, lackluster, not 100% radiant and full of joy of life, then you can look at what you've been doing, and if it's one of the things that's on your list, then that's your choice that you've made, isn't it? So it's about taking responsibility. So so that's the first thing. Make a list of things you can do to make you feel good, and also things you can do to make you feel not so good, and just take responsibility for the actions that you're taking. So that's one thing. Then we're always asking ourselves questions. So the way that we relate to the world is like by asking questions, and so this is another thing that we also had changed the language that you're using habitually. So tweak it. Instead of saying you're really furious, say you're a little bit peeved, or you're a little bit mildly irritated by something. And it's funny, just by doing that can make you feel less angry. So that's it's a really fun thing to play with. Also, my teacher, Lecturing Rinpoche, he said that when his son was younger, he never taught him the word bored. So he didn't know the feeling of being bored. He didn't recognize that as boredom because it was never labeled as boredom. So that's something that we're doing with our children, like not teaching them that word, because then there's just a kind of a spaciousness which doesn't have to be called boredom. So it's interesting how these words that we use create our reality. So I challenge you to change the words that you're using habitually, and also you can add to that the emoji that you're using habitually. Like look at your frequently used emoji, and if you've got lots of sad faces or angry faces, or kind of aggressive things, like So that's your reality at the moment. Is that what you want? Ask yourself that. Do you want to change it? Just stop using them. You could just stop, couldn't you? You could see if there was another emoji that you could use, which would maybe be a bit more humorous or a kind of laughing at your situation a little bit. So when I'm maybe feeling really in a flap with the girls, then I use that kind of face instead of that kind of face that might be an option sometimes. But I don't let myself use them. So that's the point. Just ban it from your vocabulary or your emoji vocabulary. Um, so those are a couple of things you can do. Another thing is change the questions that we're asking ourselves. So instead of asking, why am I so depressed? Or why doesn't anybody like me? Or why can't I find love? Or whatever it is. Let's just change the wording of the question. Change it to something that's more like pointing you in the right direction, more solution based. So instead of asking yourself, why am I so depressed? Ask yourself a question that's kind of more loaded in a positive way. So how can I change my state so that I can feel happy or be more lovable? So that's taking responsibility, isn't it? Like, instead of saying, why am I so depressed? It's like, okay, what am I going to do about this? How am I going to change this? How can I change my state so I can feel happy? So it's focusing on the solutions instead of the thing that you don't want. Because whatever we focus on, whatever we spend our energy on, is what we end up with. So that's a really interesting thing. And just by saying, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy, I just don't buy this. I really hate this kind of new age, like affirmation. This is personal. You might love it and feel really good with it. Maybe it really works for you, but it doesn't work for me to just say, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy when I'm feeling unhappy. And maybe you're relating to what I'm saying right now in that way. But what I'm getting at, or what I'm about to get at, is that, like, if you're not feeling happy and you tell yourself you're happy, that's not going to work. It's about changing your state. It's about getting yourself into a state of happiness. And there are tools you can use to do that when you're ready to take responsibility. Because if you're not ready to take responsibility, then nothing's going to get you feeling better. If you've got some kind of secondary gain from feeling depressed, or that you get a lot of attention from that or something. So yeah, affirmations I'm not really a big fan of. The kind of just saying I'm happy or everything's great, when actually everything isn't great. But whatever your situation, there's always another way of looking at things. So that is what I'm interested in. If there's another way, then there's a way in. There's a way out of what you're feeling and into something else that's more constructive, more kind of geared towards moving you forward to action. So instead of saying, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy, and having your lovely vision board and your affirmations up on the wall, which great. I mean, if it works for you, go with it. Like, maybe it does work for some people. But for me, that just feels like there's no base in reality. It's kind of like pumping you up, pumping you up, pumping you up, but like full of what? I don't know. So for me, that doesn't, I could say it all day long and it wouldn't change where I'm at. So what does work is to change the question that you're asking yourself. So instead of why am I so depressed? Why can't I get like why can't I get a job that's more in line with who I am or whatever it is? Why can't I find a partner who loves me? Why am I so lonely? Just change the question. So start asking yourself. So this is something you can do every day. Start asking yourself, okay, so what am I happy about? So look at your situation. and find something you are happy about. Find a little way in, because the state is there, it's available to you. You just have to find a way of accessing it. So ask yourself, what am I happy about? And ask yourself, okay, so if you really are not happy about anything, change it a little bit and say, what could I be happy about? And how would that make me feel? So that, in the same way that I mentioned, if you focus on what's wrong, you're just going to stay stuck in what's wrong, and that will become your reality. It's like whatever we focus on is familiar, and our mind moves us towards what's familiar. So if we focus on where we want to be, I mean, this has been the single thing that has been the most transformative in my life, is the realization that actually having a destination, having a place that I want to be, has been the most transformative thing, because it's like, okay, well, if I know where I'm going, the question is then all the responsibilities on me. How am I going to get there? What do I need to do? Which coach do I need to employ? Who do I need to talk to? Who can give me the answers to, or which questions do I need to even ask myself first of all? Then what are the, how do I ask the questions? What are the answers to the questions? Taking responsibility. So give yourself a destination of like, what could I be happy about? How would that make me feel? Feel it. Like, how would that make me feel? Really visualize this thing that makes you happy. Visualize this thing that you could be happy about. And really feel that, like as if it's happening right now. And if you start to do that, it becomes familiar. And then you're kind of tricking your mind into thinking you've already got it. And it opens you up to these new um, experiences or new directions, that you opportunities that you may not have been, that you might have missed. Um, yeah, and asking the questions in this way, it gives us real references. It gives us like real reasons instead of just saying I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy. If you ask the question, well, what am I happy about? Because they're guaranteed there's something that you can be happy about. What and what could I be happy about? What in my life am I truly happy about right now? I'd love to hear. So what are things that you're really happy about in your life? And what are things that you're truly grateful for? Because this period of lockdown has been so interesting, hasn't it? It's really been a period of reflection for most of us, and really been a time for allowing, like, noticing our different priorities and how they settle. Set when when certain things have been taken away that we kind of rely on, then like seeing how the priorities fall is kind of interesting. Um, so yeah, those are some things that you can do to get yourself feeling great. And it's not that you're kind of adopting a Pollyanna, like, hey, everything's great attitude to life. I'm not about that. I'm about like, this is real life. But within your real life, if you're in a period of feeling very low, maybe try changing the questions you're asking yourself. Start looking for the positives. Start looking for the things that you could choose to feel happy about, because it's a choice. And then change your language, change the words you use. So if you're somebody who's kind of gets quite angry a lot of the time, and habitual things that you say might be, I'm furious, I'm like fuming. Like, do you want to be the person who's furious and fuming all the time? And if not, maybe uh, just modify your language a little bit, and try, experiment with saying I'm slightly irked, or I'm mildly peeved. And it's so funny if you do that, because it can make you laugh. And that is the best way of cutting through the habitual patterning. Um, and yeah, and doing that with a partner or with a friend, if you notice, if they agree to this, then you can notice that if they start saying I'm furious, you can play a role for each other of saying, oh, are you furious or are you slightly annoyed or ever so slightly peeved? And these words are hilarious. I find them hilarious. Rob and I are doing this. And also, what's really interesting is when you've got children, as I mentioned before, with lecturing room showing contradiction, their son, they never taught him the word for boredom. Well, yeah, well, now I thought I had a responsibility to really help my girls with their being able to describe their emotions. And so frustration has been one that I've been kind of putting that word in their mouths quite a lot. Now I'm kind of considering, is that the best thing to do? Because if they didn't have a word for it, would they even experience it? I think there's a balance. I mean, you don't want to just completely, there has to be some recognition of the emotion, otherwise it gets suppressed. But yeah, it's fun. It could be fun to play with it, and that's what I'm getting at. And yeah, so I hope that's been helpful for you. I'll just recap for what I've spoken about. So the first thing was the list. Make yourself a list of 20 things that make you feel really, really good. And um, maybe even add 5 things that you do that you know make you feel um, bad or low energy. And for me, I'll tell you, I can't think of more, but the two that really make me feel bad, and actually one of them can really affect my physical being, is like listening to or watching the news. And I found at the beginning of this virus, tuning into the news and listening to the kind of fear on there was enough to give me palpitations. And that took me by surprise because I didn't expect, I thought I was really grounded and kind of in control, and just listening to read. I think I read one article written by a doctor or a nurse at the beginning of this, talking about where this could go, and clearly they were coming from quite a place of fear, and understandably. But that was interesting how that was able to put me into this real state of fight or flight, and I noticed my heart pounding, and I, yeah, and that was completely unnecessary. There's no point in getting into fight or flight or freeze when it's a virus. Like, that's a response that we've got, which is part of our human makeup from when there was, like, real threats, like real saber-toothed tiger at the cave entrance. Like, that's what that response is for. But now with this kind of invisible virus, it doesn't serve us. So getting, like, reacting from a state of flight, fight or flight or freeze, it doesn't serve us in any way. So if your habitual response to fear is to get into that state, like, take take control of that, and the ways that you can do that are just, like, decide what makes you feel good and do those things. Take control. So do that. Make a list. These are things you can do. You can make a list of 20 things that make you feel good, and then do them. Schedule them in if required, if your life is busy. And if you're in a state of not feeling great, go to that list or look at the things that you're doing that are making you feel low energy, and then just you know set some boundaries around them. If it's news, don't watch the news in the evening, because if you're finding that you can't sleep because of the anxiety, or that that doesn't make sense, does it? If you need to watch the news, do it in the morning, and then do something from your list to make you feel good after that. Yeah. All right, wow, okay, great. So it's been really nice that some of you have joined today, and I'm sure anybody who's watching on replay, I'd also love to hear from you. Please do write your comments, because it's really nice to see them build up, and people can also learn from each other and interact with each other. So do that. And also it makes me feel like somebody's watching and has found anything of interest. I know you are watching, but it's really nice to connect and communicate. So I know what it's like to watch in the background. I've done that many times, and that's also fine, no pressure. But if you do feel like something from the video or another video or anything you've watched of mine is of use, I'd love to hear from you. It's just so nice to connect. And yeah, I wish you all a lovely weekend. It's absolutely picture perfect, kind of blue sky out there, and it's a lovely day out there. And I hope we've got an announcement in Wales today about the lockdown, and it might, how that's going to ease. In fact, it's quite soon, so fingers crossed. Things are shifting a little bit, and maybe even our house move can get moving again, and we might make it to Pembrokeshire by summer. So that's exciting. So yeah, I hope that something I've said has been useful or interesting, and if you do remember or employ any of these methods, because that's what they are, they're methods of getting, taking control and choosing to be happy, and breaking the cycle, the pattern by just taking the reins a little bit. I think I was in the middle of just recapping. So I said we've got the 20 ways of changing how I feel from pain to pleasure. So choosing to feel good, things you can do to choose to feel good. So you've got those 20 things, and then you can also have those maybe 5 things or more, 5 things that make you feel not good. And then also thinking about the language that we use to describe our emotional state. Are they very extreme? Are you saying that you're furious, fuming? Are you saying you're depressed? Or some people even say things like suicidal. Or, if you are in a relationship and you say things like, I'm leaving, just in the heat of the moment, and you're not, things like that. Just like, let's tweak our language a little bit. Because that creates our reality. It's quite extraordinary. And by the same kind of idea there, that the emoji, the habitually, look at your pattern of the emoji that you use. And I find that's very revealing. So do that, and then if there are some there that you think, actually, yeah, why do I always use that? Like, how? Just stop doing it. Change your pattern, interrupt your pattern, take control. Start asking yourself, what right now can I be truly happy about? What can I be truly grateful for? Give yourself legitimate reasons to feel good. It's not about just saying, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy, when maybe you're not. But there will be something that you can be happy about. And just direct your focus towards that thing that you can be happy about and that makes you happy. Look back at photos, look back at memories, spend some time really, really going into memories where you have felt times when you felt amazing. Try come up with your top 10 memories that make you feel really, really good. And and then do things to make you get to that state, whatever it is. So good luck. I hope that you have a lovely time doing that, and have fun, and laugh at yourself. That really is the best medicine. Um, and I'd love to hear from you. So please, if you feel moved, or you do send me a message. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, that's all from me. Mwah. Have a lovely weekend. I love you all. Bye for now.